Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Monday, the 20th of March. In South Africa, the day of the supposed shutdown and great demonstrations. And fortunately, as far as I've been able to ascertain, looking at various news sites, protests have happened, as they should in a democracy, and as is a people's democratic right, and there are protests and marches. But the violence that so many people feared doesn't seem to have materialized. And I'm not sure whether it's that the organizers were able to instill a sense of discipline in their members, or whether the police have just been able to get ahead of them. But we're thankful that thus far we haven't seen that. And certainly, as I was thinking of what we've seen in South Africa, compared to what we're seeing going on in France at the moment, we think, oh, we've got off a lot better than that. And you take it across to other protests around the world, and you think of what happened in America with the storming of the Capitol. And so in South Africa, we've got off quite lightly, I believe, and thankfully so. And I believe that there are many, many people have been praying hard, and the prayers have been answered. But as I've looked at it and thought about it, it raises an issue of the leadership, because certainly in France you see Emmanuel Macron forcing through the change of the age of retirement without a parliamentary vote. They're really just getting people's backs up, and one wonders whether that was democratic. No matter how necessary it might have been, democracy is questioned, and his leadership is highlighted. The storming of the Capitol, well, better not get me started on Donald Trump. We'll just leave that. And locally, one sees Julius Malema trying to get the people motivated. And a lot of what they're calling for is stuff that we'd agree with. I'm not so sure about getting the president to resign, but certainly saying load shedding's a desperate situation, and it has a costly impact on so many lives and businesses. Something has to be done, absolutely. Saying that there's corruption throughout and we need to stamp out corruption, absolutely. That there's poverty and that so many people have been left off the bus and shunted to the side and have got nothing. Absolutely, those are issues that we do need to be cognizant of, and that if the leadership can do something, they need to. But I'm not convinced that his approach and what he's saying we need to do is actually right. And as I was thinking about it, it raises the issue of leadership. And in contrast to that, with Robert Murray McShane reading through his readings, today we read John chapter 10, Jesus speaking about himself as the shepherd of the sheep. And he says in verse 11, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. And that has to be the ultimate epitome of leadership, that the good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. And we continue reading the gospel and we see what that meant for Jesus. And it really is a challenge for all of us to work towards servant leadership, putting the people we're leading, putting their interests first. And so often you look at the world and you think people are putting their interests, their agenda, what they get out of it first, and getting the sheep to support them rather than the other way around. So as we follow Jesus, make him our model in leadership and in the rest of our life. And we continue to pray that this day will pass peacefully and the issues that it raises will be noticed, acknowledged, and dealt with constructively. Be blessed.